All right, here's the story from the Daily Mail. Pfizer admits engineering COVID mutants in lab studies to ensure its antiviral drug works on new variants, but pharma giant insists tests were not gain of function and did not pose risk to the public. I love this story because we constantly hear this where it's like, the analogy I give is, Dr. Fauci, is there a door on the building of the NIAID? No, there is no door. We have no door. We have a porthole with a large wooden object, and there is a mechanical device you twist, which causes it to unlatch and open on hinges. And you're like, bro, you're describing a door. They just play this game where they're like, I didn't jaywalk. I just crossed the street, not in the crosswalk. It's like you're describing literally the thing. So Pfizer, in response, presumably to Project Veritas, released a statement at 8 p.m. on Friday. Look at this. Friday, January 27th, 8 p.m. We did a show that day, but we didn't see this message come out literally the moment we go live because we do pre-production about an hour before. But we're going to make sure we get this story front and center on Monday so that nobody forgets. They tried to memory hole this. Let me read for you what they say because it'll make you laugh. Allegations have recently been made, is their statement, related to gain of function and directed evolution research at Pfizer. And the company would like to set the record straight. The next paragraph you're about to hear is just to make you not want to read it. They say, in the ongoing development of the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, Pfizer has not conducted gain of function or directed evolution research. Working with collaborators, we have conducted research where the original SARS-CoV-2 virus has been used to express the spike protein from new variants of concern. This work is undertaken once a new variant of concern has been identified by public health authorities. This research provides a way for us to rapidly assess the ability of an existing vaccine to induce antibodies that neutralize a newly identified variant of concern. We then make the data available through peer-reviewed scientific journals and use it as one of the steps to determine whether a vaccine update is required. Okay, so wait. You get the new variants, then you test it, see if you need to update. Makes sense. They add. In addition, to meet U.S. and global regulatory requirements for our oral treatment, Paxlovid, Pfizer undertakes in vitro work, e.g. in a laboratory culture dish, to identify potential resistance mutations to nirmatrelvir, one of Paxlovid's two components. With a naturally evolving virus, it is important to routinely assess the activity of an antiviral. Most of the work is conducted using computer simulations or mutations of the main protease A, non-infectious part of the virus. You see, at this point, I'm reading it they're not saying they're engineering anything. They then go on to say, in a limited number of cases when a full virus does not contain any known gain-of-function mutations, such virus may be engineered to enable the assessment of antiviral activity in cells. Okay, now they're just trying to play a legal game with me. Let's just break that sentence down to try and understand it. In a limited number of cases, when a full virus does not contain any known gain-of-function mutations, such virus may be engineered to enable the assessment of antiviral activity in cells. What they're saying is, when they engineer the cell, they need it to express mutations like they said they were checking for, so that they can see if their antiviral works. That, to me, fine. Don't call it gain of function. Call it engineering, like they did. So COVID's actually engineering such a virus, as they've stated, to assess antiviral activity. Okay, there you go.
Pfizer is engineering.
Oh, sorry, what did I say?
COVID is the engineering, but it's...
Pfizer, sorry.
Yeah, so Pfizer, you're saying in this, they admit to engineering certain viruses.
They have to check and see if it works.
Right. It's not gain of function or directed evolution. It's engineering.
What I want to go back.
This is the game they play.
You're right, Tim, because when I read this, I also started to fall asleep, especially after that second paragraph where they're like, let us be clear about what we did. We did not do it, was the way they start up the first thing. But when they say that they've conducted research where the original SARS-CoV-2, let me get this below this image up here, has been used to express the spike protein from new variants. So the original SARS-CoV-2 virus has been used to express the spike protein from new variants. What does that mean that they use a virus to express a protein in another variant?
Well, no. It just sounds like what they're saying is when there's a new variant discovered, they take it and then they put it in a dish and grow it so they can have the spike protein. That doesn't sound like gain of function or anything like that. It's the middle part of the second paragraph where they're like, and in a limited number of cases, if the virus does not contain any known gain-of-function mutations, such a virus may be engineered. It sounds like they're saying engineered to have gain-of-function mutations.
It does sound like they're saying that, and I think they are saying that. But you had Fauci saying for a while that they weren't doing gain-of-function, and then it was clear that the research that was being funded was gain-of-function research.
It says gain-of-function on the research documents.
Yeah, that's what it says.
And Rand Paul is like, Dr. Fauci, this document is yours, and it says gain-of-function research. And, no, we did not do it. It says right here, gain-of-function. I didn't do it. Okay, man,
And you can see why they would think it's a good idea, right? You can see why they would think like, okay, we're going to do research. We're going to figure out, we're going to make the virus worse so that we can test our drugs and whatever else. You can see why they'd think it's a good idea, but that doesn't make it untrue that they're doing it.
I disagree. I think the potential mutations of a virus have to be infinite.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good idea. I'm saying you can see why they would think it's a good idea.
My point is this. Let's say there's a million potential mutations to the virus. Why would they mutate it and be like, if we mutate it this way, we can make a vaccine for it this way? And it's like, oh, so 1 in a million chance. You make money off that? That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. To me, it sounds like the quintessential CYA. They just spent a whole paragraph telling us they're not doing something and just slipped a sentence in there saying, psych, we're doing it.
I was saying before the show to you, Matt, that like I think the maybe even have like immunity from the CIA is like, you're going to have to lie on this one, and you've got all retroactive immunity if it comes out that you were lying in the future. So,
well, I mean, it's public information that Pfizer's got immunity. I mean, and the reason they have immunity is because our politicians aren't the one running the show here, guys, and you guys know that. The people that are funding their campaigns are the ones running their show, and who's at the top of that food chain? Pfizer. And the pharmaceutical companies.
Massive
the people that print the money, basically. Who's making the money? Where's the money coming from? Because those are the people that are divvying out. Like the Federal Reserve decides who gets the loans first.
Right. So you got maybe a company that might sound like Black Croc. Just a random word I thought of, and they get Federal Reserve loans just pass right along to them to buy up whatever they want. Companies like these then, will invest in PACs and super PACs, allowing politicians to get elected. I don't know if overturning Citizens United ruling would actually change this. It might. I'd be interested to hear what people thought about that. You guys are familiar with Citizens United?
Yeah.
Basically, super PACs, as long as they don't collude with the candidate, you can donate an infinite number of money, and then they can say whatever they want. So what ends up happening is you get big corporations. They'll go to the candidate and say, are you the guy who's going to help our very important research save America? Because we're looking to donate a lot to help that happen. And then the candidate will be like, well, I don't know nothing about that, but rest assured, I'm a big fan of Pfizer, and them helping would be great if I won. And they go, we get it. They then go to a super PAC and say, here's $500 million. We want him. Super PAC can run a campaign for somebody. You have to be involved in it. They're going to make you win.
Well, Biden is planning to completely increase the medical industrial complex as part of the cancer moonshot plan. They're funding they're going to put so much money in to create federal, basically a federally funded, federally affiliated medical research situation.
Wow, that sounds like a good idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. Yeah. But that's like part of their big plan. They're going to increase that portion of the federal government, get a whole bunch of researchers on there to do, more stuff like this. All in the idea that they're going to cure cancer. I wonder how much cancer they make in labs, that they're then going to try and cure it.
Yeah, well, I mean, high acidity lymphatic system can cause the cells to duplicate at a rapid pace, which a lot of scientists call cancer. Like if you don't alkalize your lymphatic system, you can feed people sugar and keep making medicine, and then you're doubling down on the profit because not only are they buying your food, they're buying your medicine. And I can't stand it. I think that there's some value for Pfizer to be working on I guess you'd call it gain of function in simulations and computer simulations, like with quantum computer.
That's different than the lab thing.
You want millions and billions of potential viral outcomes, and then millions and billions of potential digital, cures of viruses in a computer. Keep it in the computer, because outside, they can leak. They can leak. Viruses can leak. You create something that you're afraid of becoming reality. You just created the thing that you were afraid of becoming reality. So I don't know. But I mean, I think they're doing it personally. I think they're just doing it for profit. I think that companies, because they're allowed to, if someone's allowed to do something, assume that they're going to. That if they're allowed to make a virus and a medicine for it and profit off that medicine, why would they not?
Well, and once a kind of technology or something like that is created, it will be used. It's just a matter of time.
The for-profit aspect of it is actually, I mean, it's terrifying. It's not. It's unethical to profit off of a what the? I don't know. People profit off of food. They profit off of food. The food industry's for profit. So
look, man,
Everything.
I've never been all about laissez-faire capitalism like Luke is. You know, he likes to come on and he just talks about how capitalism or free market solves everything, and this is corporatism and things like that. And the government actually intervenes to help major corporations win. It's not really capitalism, but I genuinely believe that if you have completely unrestricted markets, you're going to get seed oils. Like, this is my shout out to Luke Rudkowski. We Are Change. You're not here to defend yourself, but too bad. Unrestrained capitalism. A company is going to say, look, no one cares about seed oils. Only these weirdos like Luke Rudkowski are complaining about seed oils, and they're cheaper. Use those. And then everyone's going to start eating them, and if they get sick, they're not going to know why, and there's not going to be anything. They're going to keep buying these products.
You got a little stink bug right on your chest there, guy. What really concerns me is the drug dealers that are making money off this system. Like Pfizer's a company that deals drugs. I mean, you might use a different term. They sell drugs to people, but like the tobacco industry used to have commercials for kids. They would target kids with Joe Camel, and like they want you to start early, and that was the Congress had to step in because unrestricted capitalism.
You're right about
these drugs.
you're right about the drugs, though. And if you look at the data, the number of kids and teens that are on psych meds is incredibly high. And a lot of the kids that are on psych meds are like vulnerable kids, like kids in foster care. A lot of boys are on psych meds. And a lot of these kids are on medications that are not approved for their age group. And they're on multiple drug cocktails that are not approved for their age group as well.
I just want to say stink bugs are lucky that they're kind of cute and doofy.
They're not cute.
I think they're tremendously
They're
cute.
creepy.
They're not creepy. They're just like they clap. You know that?
I don't like them.
They clap. I did it.
I don't kill them, but I also don't like them.
You kill them, they make a stinky smell.
I don't want anything.
He was
to do with
on
them.
my monitor, but they clap. I'm not even kidding. I recorded a segment and then I was done and I looked up and there was a stink bug just going like this. Like I'm like, why is it?
What is that like some kind of mating call?
Probably.
Right? I mean,
they were
aren't
into
they
it. They were
all
just like,
mating
yo, you
calls? That's
complain
like
about
what
Joe
they all
Biden so
did.
good.
They dance too. If you watch them, they'll like walk sideways and then walk sideways and keep doing it and like turn and shake and stuff. And
Well, as far as these pharmaceutical companies go, it's insane to me how incentivized doctors are to prescribe a certain medication. When I was in the military, I was a combat medic, so I was an infantry medic, and the first job I got when I got out of the military, I was working at a hospital, and these pharmaceutical reps would come in and wine and dine these doctors and provide all of us, even us medics, free lunches and such, and it's just insane to me how incentivized these doctors are to sell those specific products. And as far as the PACs go, they may not be able to deal directly with a candidate, but everybody knows, if it's 2 or 3 people removed, they get a hold of these candidates. And when Matt Gaetz was on the show just a few days ago, he told you guys, he said, the first thing you do when you become a congressman, when you get to D.C., is you sit down at a table with the people who are the leaders in the industry that you want to be on a committee of, and that just shows you right there. It proves to you how corrupt politics are, and it lets you know that these politicians that we get pissed off at and that we blame for all of these problems, they're not the ones running the show. It's these lobbyists and these PACs in the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, those guys are at the top of that food chain.
It's a lot of companies. It's the military-industrial complex.
Absolutely.
You got Lockheed, you got Boeing, you got Halliburton. I mean, the list goes on. Northrop.
What you were saying too about hospitals and pharmaceutical reps. When I finished college, I worked for a small medical office, and I was like doing insurance paperwork. That was my job. But these pharmaceutical reps would come in like almost every day, and they would bring lunch for the entire office, and they'd just like spill sample cases full of their drugs
like it's
all over
nothing.
the place. Yeah. And it's so weird. You're right. Like they used to target kids with tobacco advertising, and now like anytime you watch TV, there's half a dozen drug advertisements, and you listen to the list. And my son and I will joke about it. He'll be like, "Oh, this drug for depression, Mom. It cures your depression, but you might have increased thoughts of suicide." And it's like, oh, okay.
Isn't that the opposite of what it's supposed to do?
And you listen to it, and it's like, this will help you lose weight, but you might want to kill yourself. Or sleeping drugs, and it says like, you may forget that you got up and drove your car while you were on this drug, so be careful with that. And why are we seeing all of these advertisements for major pharmaceutical drugs that can make you think you're sleeping while actually you're driving your car?
Well, the best thing is when they don't actually tell you what the drug does.
Right, and they never do. They're like, ask your doctor, and you're like, about what?
Yeah, I remember seeing a commercial. I can't remember. Y'all have probably seen commercials like this where it's like an old guy and he's like looking sad, and it's like the color's gray, and it's like, feeling down? Maybe Clovestol is right for you. And then he's smiling, and then he's like walking through a park, and it's like, ask your doctor today about Clovestol. No, I don't know what you're selling me.
Yeah.
Like,
and the drug names are so bizarre. Like,
oh yeah,
Successra.
Well, it's the reason they made pill boxes, because you need a pill to remedy the side effects from this pill, and then you need another pill to remedy the side effects from that pill, and it just goes on and on and on, and that's why they created pill boxes.
This one makes the pain go away, but also makes you want to die. This one makes you not want to die, but could also make you think about wanting to die. So then you have this one here that actually makes you forget what's going on, so that you don't remember wanting to die.
Side effect, it might cause pain. So back to the original pill, might have to double your prescription. You know, I think when the oxycodone epidemic in the 90s, late 90s, dude. This is the oxy. This is what you would call what kind of drug is that?
It was like an opiate. I remember like actually, like epidemic. I was trying to buy weed, and the guy didn't have any weed, and he was like, "Oh, here, take this." And it was an OxyContin, and I was out for like 2 days. I was like, "What the heck?"
And then you had no idea what it was. You took it.
No, yeah, I was an idiot. Obviously.
Yeah, don't do that.
The way that
nobody else should ever do that.
Especially today with fentanyl, people have been dying from overdosing on fentanyl that they think is like.
I don't get the whole fentanyl thing. Isn't it a prescription drug? Like, how did it get in all the street drugs? Like, how did this happen?
It's both prescription and street.
No,
China.
I'm telling you. So in 2012, I had a vasectomy in 2012, and first time I ever took any kind of painkiller. So they gave me Percocet and Vicodin.
Oh man,
that's a lot of painkillers.
That's a lot of painkillers.
Percocet's powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I took 2.
Woo!
And I flushed them down the toilet. And the reason I flushed them down the toilet is because it was like the best drunkenness you've ever had without the hangover.
Happened to me.
And I was like, this is dangerous. So I had to flush them down the toilet.
And it's in the freaking water supply because people are flushing them down.
Well, I don't know if that
joke.
persists. Might get filtered out. But I in 2014, I had a kidney stone. And there's nothing they can do for you. I mean, if it's like really bad, you might have to get surgery. But it wasn't really that bad. It hurts. And also, people don't understand. Let me tell you guys, it's inside your body. It's not like, you're going to the bathroom one day and you're like, there's something jammed up in, my schlong or something. Yeah. You're at the doctor's, and I was like, it's either appendicitis or like they thought it was appendicitis. And then I went in like pain in my abdomen, and they were like, yeah, it's your kidneys released like a small rock. And they were like, nothing we can do about it. Here's a bottle of pills. And I took one, and you nailed it.
Felt awesome.
And I never took another one.
You wrote a song about it. At least that's one of the songs you were telling me about. It was that
no, I don't think
a guy searching for the fix. At least that was one of the.
That was written a long time before this.
That was wild.
But this is like the feeling you get from it was so intense that I did the same thing you did.
Yeah,
I didn't flush it down the toilet. I just threw it away.
But the point is that, so I flushed it down the toilet, and I just took Motrin, and guess what? I was absolutely fine. That's all I needed. So these doctors, they're just pushing this medication, just shoving it down your throat.
Well, it's not only the medication, it's surgeries. Like at one point, I hurt my back, like after my son was born, and I saw 2 doctors, and they were like, you need back surgery. And I was like, no, I do not need back surgery.
Well, look at Hulk Hogan. He's paralyzed now.
Right?
Yeah, we were just talking about it before the show. Hulk Hogan's paralyzed.
I had a doctor. I went in because I was having trouble sleeping, and she prescribed me sleeping pills, which then gave me nightmares, and I also couldn't sleep. And then I bought new pillows. Like I literally bought new pillows, and I didn't have an issue ever after that.
The reason I brought up the opiate crisis, and some people call it an epidemic, because you see what the Sackler family did to humanity for profit in the 90s and in the 2000s?
That was crazy.
So that's the example of what
And
pharmaceutical
their name
companies
is all over everything.
I know. You would think at this point people would realize, oh, that family is demonic. I'm not like a good and evil kind of guy. I'm not that binary. But when you see pharmaceutical companies eradicating the population for profit, I got to wonder if maybe they're evil or
They're
doing
the
something
oxy
wrong.
people, right? Didn't
yeah,
they
the
do the
oxycodone.
oxy
They
people?
created
Yeah.
it. To maybe oxytocin. It's supposed to be like a feel-good chemical, like oxy.
Oh, because oxytocin is like
I think that's why they named it that.
It's like the orgasm
manipulation tactics
thing.
So
yeah.
you would think people would be so awakened to the pharmaceutical companies' attempt at profits that they would be eye-opening and gazing at Pfizer right now, like with a microscope.
Well, what's weird is they came down so hard on tobacco, right? But they don't come down. They like praise the pharmaceutical industry for all that they're doing for humanity, and the pharmaceutical industry is getting all this federal funding.
Hey, breathing and burning smoke obviously is bad for you, so that's an easy target.
We're paying for that stuff with like all the COVID tests and all that crap.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.